So last year, one of our agencies created $2 million in opportunities in 90 days from just one email. So obviously, all of our other agencies started to use it as well, and the results have been pretty awesome across the board. So now, a slight disclaimer here. They didn't just send one email and then put up their feet and then wait for money to roll in. They actually had to sell the client afterwards and being able to build a relationship. So in this video, I'm going to break down the strategy behind the email and who they sent it to and why it works so well. Plus, I'll explain the sales sequence you need to follow up afterwards so you can actually close that client. But before we get into all of that, let me first give you a bit of context to the agency itself. So this agency is a branding agency. And what happened for them was that they realized that they had a revenue gap and that they needed to close it in order to reach their goal. And we didn't have a whole lot of time to be able to close that gap, so we had to do something quickly. And what stemmed this entire strategy and being able to do this outreach. Ultimately, the thing that we recognized is that they actually did have this revenue essentially right in front of them on their porch already. So who were we targeting? We were targeting people that we already had a relationship with, people that we had either lost an opportunity to or that we had done business with before. So there was some built-in rapport and some built-in relationship. And we ended up picking email because it was the way for us to go about it and do it a bit more at mass and being able to do it at scale. So we sent out an email, crafted a template to every single one of them, personalized every one that we sent. And over the course of a couple of hours, in a day's worth of work, we were able to generate the amount of calls to generate the $2 million of opportunities. So what did this email say? First section of the email was actually very personal, either about the project that we had recently engaged with or the project that they had in mind that they ultimately decided to not move forward with. And then ultimately sharing a couple of components that we had that are ultimately of value around something going on in the industry, some insights that we thought we might be able to provide, and then offering a time to just reconnect with them. And so the email was very simple, something along the lines of, "Hey, John, it's been already 3 months since we worked on XYZ project together. Wow, time flies. I was wanting to reach out to see exactly how that ended up impacting your business. If you had some key metrics around it actually providing for ROI for you. You know, one of the things that we've been working on with other clients is meeting after the project was actually launched to allow for us to give them additional insight of what they could be doing to make slight tweaks to the work that they are doing to have even more impact. Thought I would reach out to you, offer this as well, because it's been having a lot of impact to clients. Let me know if you've got 30 minutes next week to reconnect." It was that simple, very easy, written in the most friendly fashion, but also assuming rapport. And ultimately, people like free advice. People want to have impact. And especially for those that already have a relationship with you, they are very likely to respond to this email. Aside from the content of the email, it's what comes afterwards that really actually makes the money. So the call was the real kind of moneymaker here. What we did is that we started the conversation off with where they were when we first met them. Any metrics that we've been able to gain since the project actually launched or since the timeline that we ultimately had. We had a brainstorm session before every single one of these calls of the things that this client could be doing, either with us or with others, to allow for them to accomplish the goals that we had initially spoken about in the sales conversations. Note that this is predicated on you having a good sales system and making sure that you are asking the questions that are going to allow for you to leverage this type of call format. Now, in the call, we asked them to reaffirm where they're looking to go, what are their business challenges, where are they looking ahead, what are the objectives of what they're looking to accomplish. And so what we did is we shared strategic ideas of things that they could do, both on the work we had already done and work that we could potentially be doing with them, and following a key component, the 70-30 rule, that 70% of the work that we were suggesting to them are things that we could do. 30% of work were ones that we could not do or had nothing to do with, and they were aware that it had nothing to do with the agency services, allowing for them to feel like we were here actually providing them with advice, and this wasn't just a big pitch fest, so that as we had these conversations in the future, they're open to this conversation because we are having meaningful advice. And I want to make a massive caveat here. Do not sell on this call. If they have interest in any of the ideas that you have, you schedule a separate time to talk about what it would look like to work on a project with them like this, and make sure ultimately that you're building rapport and taking a position of advisor. Incredibly important to be able to do this so that they are willing to have conversations with you like this in the future. And if you want more information on exactly how to attract the right type of client consistently for your agency, you can download our free book in the description, which goes into detail on the exact system you need to set up. All right, so what happened? What were the results? So there was a big range, really. There were agencies that were able to close $24,000 a month in revenue, agencies that were able to close $1 million worth of revenue, and agencies that were able to close, $10,000 worth of revenue. And ultimately, there was varied results because of the length of time the agency had been in business and the amount of relationships they ultimately had. The younger the agency, the less the impact. The older the agency, the more the impact. And over time, you're able to build these relationships and being able to have a more impactful result from this. So if you use this method, you can boost sales quickly. So if you found this video useful, consider subscribing to the channel, as we are going to be publishing a lot more content to help scale your agency over the next few weeks and months.